What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Johan Lorenzo, and in today's video, I want to go over some of the details that have led me to believe why AMD has some insane upside potential throughout the next 24 months. There are a solid handful of semiconductor companies you can invest in, but if I had to pick one and only one, I would have to go with AMD. Just a reminder guys, as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Make sure you do your homework and due diligence when investing in the stock market. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So if you're new to investing or you just never really heard about semiconductors, you might be like,
"What you talking about, Willis?"
Also known as semis or chips, semiconductors can be found in thousands of products such as computers, smartphones, appliances, gaming hardware, and medical equipment. And thanks to Elon Musk, you can now find thousands of semiconductor chips in electric vehicles. And a quick fun fact for you guys, a Tesla has about 3,500 chips in it, while a regular combustible engine vehicle only has 1,000. So on to AMD, also known as Advanced Micro Devices Inc. This is obviously a company that produces these chips, and for more than 50 years, AMD has driven innovation in high-performance computing, graphics, and visualization technologies. These are the building blocks for gaming, immersive platforms, and data centers. Hundreds of millions of consumers, leading Fortune 500 businesses, and cutting-edge scientific research facilities around the world rely on AMD technology daily to improve how they live, work, and play. So let's go ahead and take a look at the company. AMD has a current market cap of $162 billion. Their trailing 12-month revenue is $14.8 billion. Their net income profit is $3.97 billion. Their 5-year average return on invested capital is 9.5%. Good there. Their 5-year average free cash flow is $693 million. The trailing 12-month free cash flow is $2.96 billion. Let's move on and look at their revenue growth over the last 5 years. Over the last 5 years, AMD had in 2017, $5 billion in revenue growth. In 2018, $6.4 billion. In 2019, $6 billion. 2020, $8.6 billion. And in 2021, $14.8 billion, almost doubling. Looking good so far. Let's go to their net income throughout the last 5 years. In 2017, AMD was actually negative in their net income. They had negative $66 million. They actually lost money. But then they bounced back in 2018 and they had $280 million profit. In 2019, a $209 million profit. 2020, $879 million. And in 2021, you're ready for this? Buckle up, put your seatbelt on, and make sure you buckle up for this one. In 2021, AMD had a net profit of $3.97 billion. Talk about scaling, right? That's basically $4 billion in profit throughout a major chip shortage. I'm sure most of you have heard about this chip shortage. It feels like every time I've logged into Yahoo Finance throughout 2021, there was always at least one article about a chip shortage or a video playing about a chip shortage. With the Rona situation causing employees to work part-time or miss work altogether, the chip shortage crisis definitely hit hard. But hopefully within the next several months or so, the chip shortage issue will work itself out. So now that we've seen all the money they're making, let's take a look at their debt. And debt is really important here. We know if a company has too much debt and they're biting off more than they can chew, that could get themselves in a hole, and that would be a really bad thing for the company and a really bad thing for its investors as well. So you might think, how do we know how much debt they have and if it's good or bad? So to calculate this number, we want to get their 5-year average free cash flow and multiply it by 5. Whatever that number comes out to be, you want their debt to be below that number. So in this instance, AMD has a 5-year average free cash flow of $693 million. Let's just say you multiply that times 5 and let's just round it up. Let's say $3.5 billion. So now you know their threshold is $3.5 billion. Their total long-term liabilities are $453 million. That is insane, and that is a really low number for AMD. That's a really good job on their end, and it shows how profitable they could really be in the future once the production is fully ramped up again. And yes, I know there's plenty of competition out in the sector, but let's keep it 100 for a minute, right? Like they say it in the hood, keep it 100. All right, we're going to keep it 100. AMD had a massive gain of 70% over 2021. It has capitalized and should continue to capitalize its market share in the CPU segment moving forward, which it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out this will continue to get them substantial revenue growth throughout the next several quarters. The company is just growing more and more profitable, and the earnings per share are going to benefit from that over the next several years. The company's continuous growth and increasing profitability should allow for the stock price to continue climbing in the coming years. I'd say 2022 is going to be a great year for AMD. I guess I'm more of the look at the cup half full instead of half empty type of guy. And I guess the main competitor for AMD here would be Intel. When comparing AMD's growth to Intel throughout the last couple of years, it's light years away. From January 2019 through the end of December 2021, AMD stock has skyrocketed with returns above 770%. Compared to Intel stock returns of 11.6%, there's not even a comparison in this bracket. Although I must add and I must admit, Intel is still a solid company and they could very well bounce back over the next few years. Their share price right now is the same as it was in May of 2018, so they're definitely at a bargain. So let's take a look at, for lack of better words, I guess you can say, the negatives of AMD, right? Let's take a look at the negative side of things with AMD and the company overall. All right, the elephant in the room is their 5-year PE ratio is sitting at 162. I understand that is a very high number. It is high, I agree. But then again, I look at companies like Tesla, which their PE ratio has always been through the roof, and it's actually held a lot of people back from investing in that company. I've talked to so many people who've told me, man, I've been waiting for Tesla's PE ratio to come down so I can invest, but every time I wait, the stock just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. I think AMD might be a similar scenario, maybe a few years down the road, I would say 2025, once this chip shortage thing resolves itself. I think AMD could have a lower PE ratio, which means the stock price is going to be a lot higher. But until then, I guess I could just hope for the best. Another negative about the company is they do not pay a dividend. And I know a lot of you guys are dividend investors. I'm a dividend investor as well. I will be starting my dividend investing once again with these portfolios in a couple weeks because my house should be wrapped up pretty soon here. But the fact that they don't pay a dividend might not, get you motivated to invest in the company. But if you work your way up to 100 shares, you can sell covered calls and you're basically generating your own dividend. The only thing is you don't have the tax benefits of dividends, but as long as the outcome is income, come on now. And if you don't have 100 shares at the moment, work your way up there. Little by little, buy a couple shares at a time. It'll help you dollar cost average into the position. And once you get to 100 shares, you can make a pretty good amount of substantial money every week or every month. That is your own dividend. Another negative thing here is their shares outstanding haven't really decreased at all. 5 years ago in 2017, they had 957 million shares outstanding. And in 2021, they had 1.2 billion shares. That ain't good. I would like to see this number go down in the future, but then again, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. The company is still moving in the right direction, and I think this will improve over time. And once again, I understand the argument where people see the stock price as overvalued because of the PE ratio. But then again, with the Tesla example, you look at the PE ratio of a stock like Tesla, and you're left like, what? What about PE ratios? The stock just keeps climbing regardless of the PE ratio. So based on these metrics, the current stock price can seem a little tricky, right? There are two sides you can be on. The side that says this stock is overpriced at the moment and I'm going to wait till it comes down to the $110, $120 range. Or you could be on this side that says this company just started scratching the surface of its real potential and it has had the best 2 consecutive years in the history of the company. I think we're going to keep rallying. And to be completely honest with you, if you haven't noticed yet, that's the side I'm on. I think AMD is going to continue to rally here. I think AMD is really going to rally here throughout the next 12 to 24 months. The company is on the biggest stage it's ever been on, and it's safe to say they have some pretty good momentum behind them. I think they'll keep it up. Also, something I wanted to point out to the people that are siding with that bear case opinion. I don't think people are really taking into account the impact their current CEO has had on the company since she took over. I mean, straight up, the lady is a beast. She has awards and accolades that one can only dream of. Let's just look back to October 2014 when the current CEO, Lisa Su, was appointed president and CEO of the company. As you can see here, 2 years after Lisa Su became CEO, AMD really started to climb up in share price and hasn't looked back since. The stock is currently sitting around the $132 range and investors are keeping their fingers crossed for that Xilinx deal. Hopefully it goes through by the end of 2022. Investing in AMD right now is definitely risky and it will come with some good volatility at that. But remember this, with good amount of risk comes a great amount of reward. So what do you guys think about these types of companies? Do you guys invest in this sector? If so, let me know down in the comments below. I will get back to each and every single one of you. With all that said, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!